If you're wondering how to sell on Amazon KDP in 2025, then this video is going to answer all of your questions. I'll explain how the Amazon KDP business model works, how to open your own Amazon KDP account, how to find profitable KDP niches to publish in, and how to upload your first book. So with that in mind, let's get straight into the video. So the best place to start is how the actual Amazon KDP business model works. Now, Amazon KDP, for those of you that are watching that don't know, is Amazon's own self-publishing platform that essentially allows anyone to create and sell books on Amazon. Now, the crucial thing here is you don't need to be an author. People hear books and kind of run a million miles. You really don't need to be an author to be successful. I've sold just under $1 million worth of activity books that anyone is able to make. So we're not making super long novels, we're making much lower content kinds of books. Like I say, activity books, puzzle books, coloring books, those kinds of things that absolutely anyone can make. And crucially, it's a print-on-demand business model, which means you only upload digital versions of these books that then get printed on demand. So you can, of course, create ebooks as part of this business model, but for most of the time, we are going to be producing actual physical books. However, these books only ever get printed once someone buys them on Amazon. Once we've uploaded the digital versions of these books, our work is pretty much done in terms of the book production. Amazon will then take care of everything else. So I'm going to show exactly kind of how this process works in a very, very simple form. Firstly, when it comes to actually creating these books, all you would need to do is upload 2 PDF files, one of your book cover and one of your book interior. So as you can see here, this is what a book cover file would look like, just a very simple PDF. You have your front cover here, you have your spine down the middle, and then you have your back cover. And then the interior file, which is basically the inside of the book, will look something like this. As you can see, this is just a simple coloring book for seniors. You've got very simple coloring pages in here. Very, very straightforward, 2 PDFs, and these are the things you upload to Amazon. So like I say, you then take these 2 individual files and upload both of these to Amazon KDP. And then it will be online on Amazon. You'll set your price, how much you want to make per book sale, and then it will appear just like most other products on Amazon. As you can see here, this is an example of what it would look like. This is a different kind of book, of course, but it's the same kind of thing. You have your product images here. You have a title, which you will, of course, choose. The price, so this one is priced at £9.92 because it's currently on discount. Every single book will have Amazon Prime, so you have access to the best delivery proposition, and you don't have to worry about any of this. Amazon literally take care of everything past the point of uploading your book to Amazon KDP. So you can utilize the best delivery proposition in the entire world, which is Amazon Prime, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. So yes, your books will appear just like any other product on Amazon, and you haven't got to do anything in terms of logistics. And then ultimately, when someone ends up buying your book, at this point, Amazon will print those digital versions into physical copies and ship everything to the customer. You don't have to do anything. And then you just take a 60% cut of the sale price minus printing costs. So if this was your book, you take a 60% cut, actually to be fair, of the full price, which is £12.95, but pretend this wasn't on discount, this was just the normal price of £9.92. You would take a 60% cut of this £9.92 minus printing costs. So once you've taken printing costs off, it works out to be roughly 30%. So for every time you'll sell one of these books, you will make just over £3, which, considering when you don't do any of the delivery, you don't deal with any of the returns, any of the customer service, that's actually a lot of money, especially when you start building more and more books and really start scaling the business. So this is a very, very profitable business model and can be extremely passive too. So with that said, just how much money can you make from Amazon KDP? Well, here is an example of a book. It's an Awesome Riddles for Smart Kids. I'll come back and touch on this later on in the video. It sells for £5.99, and if you scroll down to the bottom here where it says to the item details, firstly, you can see it's a KDP book because it will say independently published rather than a full-time publisher name. And then every single book has what's known as a bestseller rank. So this is ranked 456 in books, which means it is the 456th best-selling book on Amazon at the time of recording. So this is what can translate into actual money figures and how much this book is making. So if it's ranked 456 on Amazon, if you go to this tool on self-publishing titans, which I will leave linked down below in the description, go ahead and press calculated sales. This book is selling over 1,000 units every single month, and it's literally an Awesome Riddles for Smart Kids book. Now, I'm not actually going to suggest copying this. As you'll see later on in this video, this niche is already done. I would actually massively avoid publishing in a niche like this, but it's just to show you how much money you can potentially make with Amazon KDP. And if we're looking at how much money they're making per book sale, if we put in some more information, let's scroll down again, It has 112 pages and it's listed for £5.99. So every single time this book makes a sale, it is making £1.62. So when you consider it is selling over 1,000 units per month, this book is passively making just under £2,000 every single month. It's been uploaded. When was this one uploaded? It was uploaded on the 19th of June, 2023. So as soon as that's published, everything it's made after that has just been complete passive income. They haven't got to do anything now they've uploaded the book. Amazon are the ones that are printing it, shipping it out. They just cash in their check every single month. So you can see just how much potential this business model has. Now, of course, in this video, I can't cover absolutely everything that you need to know about Amazon KDP, which is why I have a completely free 3.5-hour full Amazon KDP course to build on some of the things that I'm talking about in this video. If you do want to check that out, I will leave that linked up here. And you can also join my premium KDP community to access even more KDP resources and accelerate your learning much faster, and I will leave that also linked down below in the description. So that is a nice and quick introduction to what Amazon KDP is as a business model and potentially how you can make money from it and how much money you can make. How do you actually start? The first step, which is creating your account. Now, creating an account on Amazon KDP is quite straightforward, but some people can find it a little bit confusing, so I'll talk you through it. But before I do that, something I really want to stress, which is really important. You are only allowed one Amazon KDP account, and this is relevant because I currently have my own KDP account. I can't actually go onto Amazon, create a brand new account and show you live on screen exactly how to do it, because that's against terms and conditions. That would technically be my second account, which I'm not allowed. So not only does this mean I'm going to show you through images exactly how to do this rather than kind of like a live video, but it's also a warning to you, just make sure when you're making a KDP account, you only have one Amazon KDP account. Most of the time, you can just use your very own Amazon account, the same one you buy products from, or you can make your own, unique login through, a brand new email address or whatever. But make sure you only ever have one Amazon KDP account, because that might trip you up later down the line. So that's a really important message to get across. So like I say, I can't actually show you on my screen because that would technically be breaking terms and conditions, but I'm gonna show you through this website, shinywords.com. Actually check them out. They have some really good resources in terms of KDP templates and tools, but they've also got this cool blog post which basically talks you through how to sign up for an account, and I will also leave this linked down below in the description, but I'm gonna talk you through exactly how to do it. So firstly, you need to go to the official Amazon KDP website, which is kdp.amazon.com. You can either sign in, as you see here, with your own Amazon account, or you can just create your very own Amazon account specifically for KDP. It's entirely up to you. You are allowed to have one Amazon account just for like buying things on Amazon and then a separate account for KDP. That is totally fine. You just can't have two specifically KDP accounts. So it's up to you how you want to do that. Don't really overthink it. It's just entirely up to you and personal preference. Then when you create your account, you have to put in obviously some information here. You then have to accept some terms and conditions. So again, like ideally I would be talking you through this live on screen, but I can't really do that because like I say, I can't create a second account as it's against terms and conditions. So this is gonna have to do. So just accept those terms and conditions. And then this is basically the main dashboard you will see. This is your entire Amazon KDP dashboard, but it will say before you publish a book, you need to update some information. And this is where the little complex bits come out and where some people have a little bit of trouble. So I will talk you through exactly how to do this. But this essentially is the main hub. Whenever you go to create a book, all you need to do is go ahead and just press create. But I'll touch on this later on in this video. So once you click into this update now button, you'll be taken to a screen like this where you have to put in your author or publisher information. Now the business type, you can either choose individual or corporation. For the vast majority of you, you will be choosing individual, unless you want to set this up under a limited company. If you want to get some kind of tax benefits, or wherever your company is currently based in the world, you can choose corporation. But generally speaking, if you don't need to do that for a certain reason, I would always just stick to individual. When it comes to paying taxes and things like KDP, I'm from the UK, so I can only really comment on that. But if you set up as an individual, all you need to do then at the end of every single year is just submit a self-assessment tax return. Very, very straightforward. So unless you absolutely have to select corporation, I would always go ahead and choose individual. Obviously then date of birth and then some information about where you live and your address, all that kind of thing. And then you need to provide your payment information. And again, this will change depending on where you're based. I'm going to basically go through it from the point of the UK because that's where I am and that's where my experience is. But based on where you put your bank or where you say your bank is, that's going to change some of these settings here. but for most of it, it should be the same. So I imagine most of you will put either the US, UK, or wherever country you're from. Your account will probably be a checking account, and then you have to go in and put in your account number and also your routing number. This might again be different depending on what country you're from, but just go ahead. Amazon basically have this what's this section, which explains everything you need to know about exactly what number you need to put in. So go ahead and check that out. And also if you have any questions or confusions while you're setting it up, just leave a comment below this video and I'll try and help you out as much as possible, because I appreciate everyone's from different countries. There's no like set way of doing this. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And then once you've done that, you will need to complete a tax interview, which is again where some people get tripped up. Again, don't worry about this if you're just an individual starting KDP and you haven't registered as a full-time business in your country. You really don't need to. Again, just make sure you select individual if you are one of those. You'll then be prompted to if you are a US citizen. Well, this is where my experience stopped because I've always pressed no in this situation, but if you press yes, just go ahead and fill in all of this relevant information. If you struggle to find this information, if you just Google SSN or ITIN number or that kind of thing, Google will have the answer for you, or ChatGPT, whatever one you want to use. But for the UK, you will have to put no here, and it will change basically the view that you see here. And what it will do is it will ask you for a TIN number. Now, if you are registered as a company in the UK, that's where you put in your company TIN number. But if you're an individual, this TIN number will just be your national insurance number. So don't panic if you can't find that. That's basically just a way of tying your KDP account to kind of who you are as an individual, just so when it comes to things like taxes, they can kind of track it back to you. So yeah, if you're from the UK, your TIN number will be your national insurance number. At least that's what I've done, and I've never had issues with it. But again, just go through, double check everything, and you're happy to submit all of this information because your national insurance number is unique to you. But yeah, that's generally how you would do this. It's hard to explain without being able to show you live on screen. But like I say, I can't do that here. So that's how you get through the tax interview. They're not trying to trip you up. They just need to know this information from a compliance perspective. And then you go through, put your name in, sign the date, and then press save and preview. And then you're absolutely fine. Your Amazon KDP account is set up and you can start publishing your books. Now, you can also have links to the KDP content guidelines, which I do suggest having a look through before you get started, because there are some things you might not get tripped up on. The main things that you want to avoid, very obvious ones, copyright or trademark infringement. Don't do that. Don't make books with, celebrity names or trademark brands or trademark phrases on. Shouldn't take an expert to explain that to you, but avoid doing things like that. Avoid having a second account and you only have one Amazon KDP account, like I say. No offensive content in your books. Use of AI. Gray area, you can of course use AI, and I would recommend using AI in your books. What I wouldn't recommend doing is just producing a full AI book. So maybe going to ChatGPT and saying, write me a 20,000 word story, and just copy and pasting that and putting that in a book onto KDP. Do not do that. You will get yourself banned. Amazon do want to work with people who use AI, but you don't want to just be flooding the market with loads of AI fully generated books. So just be careful with that. But like I said, I cover all of these things in that free course, which I have linked down below this video. But just take a look at these terms and conditions and familiarize yourself with them. So now we know exactly what KDP is, how it works, how much money you can make, and how to actually set up your account. How do you go out about actually creating your book? Now, this process is a very long-winded process. I can't include it all in this video, which is why, like I say, that course is going to be really useful to you, because I talk everything that you need to know in there. But essentially, when it comes to creating your books, the key with Amazon KDP is you're not creating books that you want to create. Well, you can if you want to, but you're going to make a lot more money if you're actually following data and following trends in the market. So that's why in KDP, we say there's so much emphasis on what we call niche research. So as someone that's been doing KDP for 5 years, my biggest piece of advice would be do not make a book until you've done your niche research. And niche research, in very, very simple terms, is just assessing the market for potential avenues that you can go in and create a book that customers want and there isn't too much competition already. So I'm just going to show you an example of very rough niche research here. Again, it can get very complicated and into a lot more detail, but you'll see that in the free course, which I've mentioned. But essentially, niche research is looking for two things. A, you want to make sure people are actually searching for a book, and B, you want to make sure loads of people haven't already done this. So in this niche, riddles for kids, which as I've already mentioned, I would actually avoid publishing in because it's been done. There's so many strong books there already. You would actually want to avoid this. But maybe a couple of years ago, this was a really good niche to publish in. So go onto Amazon, have a look around, and as you can see here, we all have loads of these different riddles books because I've typed in riddles for kids, and these are their BSR numbers, as you saw earlier on in this video. BSR basically translates to how much money they are making. Here's that awesome riddles for smart kids that I showed you earlier on. And therefore, riddles for kids would be something that we consider as a niche. Riddles for kids is a KDP book niche. Now, the key to making a lot of money on Amazon KDP is finding the right niches, because you don't want to just be publishing in loads of random niches that are already really saturated, because why would anybody buy your book rather than this one, which already has 32,000 reviews, or this one that's got over 100 reviews? It's going to be very difficult to break into a niche like this. So this just kind of emphasizes why niche research is such an important part of KDP. And like I say, I would always recommend doing niche research before you even touch your book, because there is no point making a book that A, no one wants to buy in the first place, or B, if they want to buy it, there's already too many good options already at a good price. So I would recommend, as an example here, staying away from this specific niche, but this just kind of shows an example of what a niche is, and hopefully you can understand why niche research is so important. In my free course, which I've mentioned, I have a whole section of videos dedicated specifically to niche research and how you can use certain tools to make sure you're finding the most profitable niches. But once you're happy and you've found a good niche, you then have to go on to actually start making your book, which I will move on to now. So if you cast your minds back to the start of this video, I mentioned to upload a book to KDP, you essentially need two files. You need a PDF file of your book cover and a PDF file of your book interior. And the best way to make these are in software like Canva. I also use Kittle as a really good option for creating your designs, but I think the vast majority of people do use Canva. So this is kind of what it looks like in here. As you can see, this is just a generic Canva file, and I've gone in and added in a load of templates. Again, in this video, it would just take so much time for me to do, but that's all included in that free course that I mentioned. So yeah, basically this is what you would be uploading to Amazon KDP. This is just simple text. These are simple images, and this is exactly the file that you would upload to Amazon. All you would need to do once you've created it is go to download and download it as a PDF, because ultimately that is the PDF that we want to download. So PDF print, and just make sure you choose the right page. This one currently is page 3. Press done and then press download. And this is the file that you would then upload to Amazon KDP. And then in terms of the book interior, this is just, like I say, a simple coloring books for seniors. So it just has very simple coloring pages that you can see here. I've generated these on Midjourney, which is an AI image generation software. Again, I can't go into that in this video because it would just take a long time to explain. And the whole purpose of this video is just to introduce you to Amazon KDP and give you a flavor of if it's something you're potentially interested in. Then if you are interested, you can check out that full free course, because that's all the information that you need. I know I keep banging on about it, but I don't want you to feel disappointed by this video. This is just to kind of introduce KDP. Then if you want to learn more and in depth, you can check out that video. But here is just what you can see from the interior. As you can see, very basic, just images that we've generated ourselves. And then all you would need to do to upload this to Amazon, go to share, download, and then also download this one as a PDF. Make sure you're including all of the pages. As you can see in this file, we have 97 pages. Go ahead and download. And those are the 2 PDF files that we're going to head over to Amazon now and upload. So now we've created these files, when it actually comes to uploading them, all you need to do is go to a KDP dashboard and then just click this big create button here and then select paperback book. So once you've done that, this is the screen that you will see, and this is where you put in all those details and actually upload your book. So you would put in your book title here, and that's exactly what appears on this screen here. This is the book title and then also the subtitle. And again, I'm not going to go into full detail about how to do this because it can take a fair bit of time, and that's not the purpose of this video. You can then put in your author name. So this is what we call a pen name. You can have as many different pen names as you want under the same account. So Sam, for example, if it was my Amazon KDP account, I can have one pen name, which is Coloring Creations. I can have another one, which is just maybe a made up name. And this author name here is what will appear. So Beaky and Starlight is what this awesome riddles book would have put here in the author name, just showing you kind of how pen names work. You then have your description, so you can put in exactly what you want to appear in your description, and that's exactly what you will see in this bit here. publishing rights. Now make sure you select I own the copyright and I hold necessary publishing rights, because if you've done everything right, you will hold the copyright for the book because you've made it all yourself. That's why I say don't use any copyrighted images, logos, that kind of thing. Very straightforward and self-explanatory. You can then choose the selected reading age for your book, the primary marketplace. Don't worry too much about this in this video. Categories that you want your book to appear in. So Amazon will automatically show it up in categories. You can tell it specifically which ones you want. So as you can see here, this book has chosen children's books, travel games, children's books in party games, and that's basically these categories that they select here. Keywords are actually really, really important when it comes to KDP and allow different customers to actually find your book in the first place, which is really good in terms of Amazon SEO. So keywords are really important. And then you have these, which generally I just leave blank. And then comes the fun part of actually uploading the book itself. You want to select a free KDP ISBN, choose a black and white interior, depending on what book you've gone for. And then you have certain trim sizes, so you can choose the size of your book. 8.5 by 11 is an A4 book. The other one you're probably going to be using a lot is potentially 6 by 9, which is an A5 book. And then bleed settings, pretty much a hard and fast rule is if it's a notebook, make sure you select bleed, because that basically means the pages will bleed into the spine of the book. But if not, go for no bleed. And then it's entirely up to you if you want a matte or a glossy finish. And then this is where you upload those two files. So this is where you would upload the interior file. So in this case, the coloring pages. And this is where you upload the book cover file that I showed you just a second ago. You then need to include how much AI generated content is in your book. Again, don't worry too much about in this video. You have to say how much text you've used, how many images you've used, and also the translations. And then you have to go and press this launch previewer book. And this is basically going to show you a preview of exactly what your book will look like once it's actually published. So once you've pressed launch previewer, this is what you will see. As you can see, this is what our front cover looks like. This is what our back cover looks like. And then you can go in and actually look at the individual images of the book. And you can just double check everything should be as it should. So you can see here all these images that we've just created. Once you're happy with that, go ahead and press approve. And then you can start setting the list price for your book. As you can see, it's going to cost us $2.84 to print this book. But don't worry, you're not actually paying every time it prints. That just comes off your overall margin, as I mentioned at the start of the video. And now it comes to just setting the price of your book. It's entirely up to you how much you want to set it. This example, I'm just going to go for $8.99. And then change it for different territories. Remember, when you upload it, this will be your main marketplace, Amazon.com, but it will also be for sale automatically in all of these different regions too. So you need to go ahead and set whatever price you want. So for this book, if I sell it at $8.99, every single time I make a sale, I will make $2.55. Or if I sell it in the UK, it will sell for £7.99 and I will make £2.64 per book sale. So you can see here just how much money you're making from your book. Go ahead and press publish, give it 72 hours, and your KDP book will be completely live. So there you go, there is an introduction for beginners to Amazon KDP, explaining more about the business model, just how much money you can potentially make, and what we're actually doing when it comes to creating books on Amazon KDP. Now, as I've said multiple times in this video, if you are interested in taking Amazon KDP even further, then you can check out my free Amazon KDP course. It's 3.5 hours long and goes into significant detail about everything that I've spoken about in this video. And if you want to go one step further, join my premium Amazon KDP community, which will also be linked down below in the description, and also share any comments you have about questions from this video. But thanks for watching. I can't wait to see as many of you start KDP as possible, and I will see you now in the next video.